The ship changed the deeper they went. Not suddenly. Not dramatically. It happened in layers. The corridors narrowed first, the clean precision of the upper sections slowly giving way to something older and more functional. The lighting flattened into long, pale strips, recessed into the walls, stripping color from skin and turning every shadow into something clinical. The air grew warmer, too, carrying a faint metallic sharpness beneath the filtered atmosphere of the upper decks. This part of the ship wasn't designed for movement. It was designed for work. Everlyn felt it immediately. The further down they moved, the less the ship resembled a vessel, and the more it resembled a process unfolding around them. Every corridor fed into another with deliberate intent. Every doorway narrowed movement into predictable lines. Every open section created angles that could be monitored from somewhere unseen. The machine wanted people flowing in controlled directions. The wolves adapted without needing to speak. Kane drifted slightly ahead of Everlyn, not leading, not overtaking, just opening the space in front of her, eyes constantly moving between shadow, structure, and movement. Malek remained further back with the civilians and the slower wolves, anchoring the rear without needing acknowledgement. Lira moved differently now, closer to the walls, lower, listening, not just for sound, for intent. Across the group, the other wolves mirrored pieces of the same behavior. Some watched the ceilings, some tracked vents, others moved with their heads slightly lowered, reading the vibration of the ship through the floor. The civilians noticed it, not fully, but enough to understand one thing. The wolves were changing, not becoming less human, becoming more focused. Ruin remained silent behind them, but Everlyn could feel him watching the structure of the ship itself, not with curiosity, recognition, the kind that comes from surviving something similar long enough to understand where danger likes to hide. Ahead of them, Kane moved alone. The link between her and Everlyn remained thinner than before, stretched by distance and interference, but it still held. Not clearly, not perfectly. Enough. Enough to feel motion, enough to share direction, enough to know neither of them was alone. Kane slowed as she approached another junction. This one felt different. The ship's newer systems ended here. She could see it in the architecture alone. The smooth, integrated surfaces gave way to older metal layered beneath later construction, as though entire sections of the vessel had been built over instead of replaced. That made her cautious. Older systems meant weaker understanding. Weaker understanding meant unpredictability. She pressed herself against the wall beside the opening and listened. Nothing. No movement. No voices. No patrol rhythm. The absence of activity felt intentional. Kane moved anyway. Fast. Silent. Controlled. The corridor beyond widened slowly into a chamber unlike anything she had seen so far. She stopped. Not from fear. From scale. The room stretched downward in layers, platforms suspended above each other in descending circles around a central structure that pulsed with soft internal light. Walkways crossed open air in narrow paths of metal and energy, feeding toward the center like veins leading into a heart. And around the edges, containment. Rows of it. Not just humans. Not just wolves. Different shapes, different species. Different biological structures suspended in varying forms of stasis. Some floated in fluid. Some rested in fields. Some remained inside sealed, transparent units, threaded with shifting patterns of light. Alive. Every one of them alive. Kane felt the weight of it settle slowly. The Xarthians weren't hunting species. They were collecting variables. She stepped fully into the chamber and moved along the nearest suspended walkway, careful not to expose herself against the open central space longer than necessary. The systems ignored her. That bothered her more than if alarms had sounded. Across the link, Everlyn felt the shape of the chamber before she saw it. Not visually, emotionally. The scale, the order, the intention. "We're close," she said quietly. The wolves tightened formation without needing explanation. The civilians moved closer together instinctively. No one questioned her. They could feel it too. The ship had changed around them. The corridors feeding toward the chamber narrowed further before finally opening, and when Everlyn stepped through the threshold, she understood immediately why Kane had stopped. The chamber wasn't hidden. It was protected by irrelevance. The Xarthians didn't expect anyone to reach this depth alive enough to matter. Rows of suspended bodies lined the outer walls, some human, some alien, some impossible to classify at a glance. Kane stepped beside Everlyn, gaze moving once across the scale of it. His jaw tightened, not from fear, from understanding. Malek entered more slowly, his sheer size suddenly feeling small against the enormity of the structure surrounding them. Lira stopped near the edge of the platform. Her breathing changed. Something deeper in the chamber had her attention. Kane finally moved again, leading them toward a lower platform that spiraled toward the center. "They're below us," she said quietly. Not a guess, a fact. The containment units around them weren't the final stage. They were waiting rooms, preparation, storage before transition. At the center of the chamber, mechanical systems moved in endless, precise rhythms. Arms unfolded from walls and retracted again. Energy fields formed and collapsed in measured pulses. Platforms shifted silently beneath the structure, as if the entire room was breathing. No chaos, no cruelty, just process. Kane spoke for the first time since entering. "They're letting us in." No one answered, because they all understood what that meant. The ship still believed it was in control, and that confidence was becoming dangerous. Everlyn looked down toward the deeper levels beneath the chamber. The light there was different, warmer, sharper, alive. This wasn't the destination. This was the entrance. And somewhere below them, the missing threads of the pack still waited.